Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
And discuss the biggest news stories, the most important news stories, the most ignored news stories of 2008, and what you think is going to happen in 2009 as the world heats up as we go into the new year here in 48 hours. Less than 48 hours, with huge tensions rising, very serious tensions rising in Central Asia, between the subcontinent, India and Pakistan, wedged in between Iran and China, as well as Afghanistan. We have Israel now 3 days into a blitzkrieg attack on hundreds of targets in the Gaza Strip, injuring thousands, killing more than 500 people, and they're saying it's going to last for weeks. We have the economy sinking into a deepening abyss. Rand Corporation and others saying they want World War III to bring in the New World Order. A lot is going on. A lot is happening. So wide open phones for the full 4 hours today. 1-800-259-9231. 1-800-259-9231. Any subject, any item, any issue you want to discuss, we are taking a passel, a gobbin of calls today, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, what is in my little stack of news? We'll also be covering the news today, economic, military, social. I also had a little run-in with the police last night, leaving work at about 11:15. You know, that's the only reason I may leave this country, is because I don't want my children around these type people. But everywhere else is run by third world police, so God help us. I'm going to tell that story later in the hour. Oregon is admittedly about to put transponders and satellite tracker boxes in all cars to tax you by the mile. This is also going in nationwide. I would tell people about this 10 years ago when I would read about it in industry publications, and when Toyota and others would say they were getting ready to follow U.S. and British and German directives to do this, and people would call me a conspiracy theorist. It's now all over the Oregon newspapers, conditioning the slaves to get ready for it. So we'll get into that. On the situation with the Gaza Strip, a McKinney relief boat hit by Israeli ship. This is out of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And the former congresswoman's ship was heavily damaged when it was rammed by Israeli ship trying to bring in aid supplies to the embattled Gaza Strip. See, the most ancient form of total war is siege. And Gaza has been under economic and military siege for years. They are starving to death in many areas. Egypt will not let them out. So they're being bad as well. Of course, they're on globalist payroll. And so the Gazans, 1.5 million of them, plus are between a rock and a hard place. What is it, 1,550,000 in there? And so it's shooting fish in a barrel. And so they've been saying, open the embargo for the last year, or we're going to shoot Katyusha rockets at you again. We're going to shoot glorified Estes rockets at you. And so Israel didn't, so they started firing the toothpicks again. And so now Israel's dropping 1,000, 2,000-pound bombs on them. And, I mean, just decimating what's left of the country, leveling whole city blocks. And Cynthia McKinney tried to bring some medicine in there. And are you kidding? I mean, if Israel will run over American college students with bulldozers and laugh, they'll kill her. I mean, if Israel attacked the USS Liberty to blame it on Egypt, don't get uppity there, Cynthia McKinney. They'll kill you and say you bumped your head. I mean, they'll shoot you on TV and say you bumped your head, like Benazir Bhutto. Because they know they got a thumb-sucking, brain-dead population that doesn't know what's going on. We're going to come back and get into all the news, ladies and gentlemen, and more on what happened to Cynthia McKinney today when we return. That lady has got a lot of will. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today. It is the 30th of December, 2008. We have 3 hours and 51 minutes spanning out before us. Wide open phones for the full 4 hours. McKinney's relief boat hit by Israeli ship. A boat carrying international peace activists, including former Georgia Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney, and medical supplies to the embattled Gaza Strip, sailed back into Lebanese port on Tuesday after being turned back and damaged by an Israeli Navy ship, organizers of the trip said. The crowds on the docks in the Lebanese port city of Tyre were jubilant and cheering as they welcomed the vessel. The boat, which set off from Cyprus Monday, wanted to make a statement and deliver medical supplies to embattled Gaza. The trip's organizer said the boat was clearly in international waters 90 miles off the coast of Gaza at the time of its close encounter with the Israeli Navy. Our boat was rammed 3 times, twice in the front and 1 in the side, McKinney told CNN Tuesday morning. Our mission was a peaceful mission. Our mission was thwarted by the aggressiveness of the Israeli military. Yigal Palmer, a spokesman for Israel's foreign ministry, denied that there had been any shooting, although the 2 ships had made physical contact. And it goes on from there. Israel saying there's no intention on any part for the Israeli Navy to ram anybody, so basically denying it. Oh, come on. Israel warns Gaza blitz could last weeks. This out of the French news agency. Israel bombed Gaza for the 4th day on Tuesday, started Saturday, warning that the blitz that has killed at least 360 people could last for weeks as Hamas fired back with deadly rockets landing deep inside the Jewish state. As anger, listen to how that little headline is twisted right there. And I'm trying not to get involved in all this and take sides. It's all tribal warfare, but clearly Israel's the bully. And clearly it's for political gain with all the corruption scandals going on in Israel. It's meant as a diversion and distraction. Clearly they've had the area of Gaza locked down for years, people starving, no medicine. That is an act of war. Siege is again, a total form of war. And so they fire back these homemade rockets, and notice they call it deadly rockets, but they don't call the 2,000-pound bombs and Hellfire missiles deadly that Israel's raining down, blowing up whole city blocks. Leveling entire blocks. As anger over the devastating offensive spiraled in the Muslim world and elsewhere, UN Chief Ban Ki-moon implored world leaders to work urgently to end the unacceptable violence. The UN will save us, I guess. Continuing, Israeli troops mass along the border. Arab anger is rising, New York Times reports, and they've been massing Israeli troops since Sunday. Hundreds of tanks, mobile guns, artillery, field pieces, bulldozers. Israeli troops and tanks massed along the Gaza border, and the government said it had called up reserves for a possible ground operation as the death toll increased to more than 300 after Israeli aircraft pounded Gaza. Report here out of Press TV. World protest Israeli massacre in Gaza. Israel keeps pounding Gaza on the 3rd day of its aerial campaign as the world continues to protest the deadly blitz that has killed over 310 people. And that number's from yesterday. It's more like 400 now. Some estimates are 500. There's protests in Turkey, protests in Europe, protests in France, protests all over the world. But Barak, the head of the Israeli military, says they are in an all-out war with Hamas. And the Jerusalem Post is reporting that the IDF has launched their own YouTube channel. IDF launches YouTube Gaza channel. In the midst of the Gaza operations, the IDF is entering yet another conflict zone. The Internet, the Israeli army's announced yesterday the creation of its own YouTube channel. Now, notice that what just happened with this simultaneously. Suddenly, the ADL announces that they are basically on the board of YouTube advising what can be on the site and what can't. 6 months ago, we have Lieberman. He comes out and he says we need to restrict what's going on YouTube. If the government says it's offensive or dangerous or pro-terrorist, it needs to come down. And what comes down? Marines killing puppies. U.S. troops and contractors shooting people, innocents. That's all taken down. I mean, it can even be on the nightly news. YouTube takes it down. Google's taking these videos down. And now mainline, humanitarian, mainline liberal videos that are saying, let's have peace, let's stop the killing, that shows images of crying and bloody children. That is being taken down by YouTube. I mean, I saw hundreds of accounts the last 2 days that are being taken down. But meanwhile, you better believe that Israel's military, they're going to put out whatever side they want. They're going to show, dead Israelis from these rockets, and they should show it. But you're not going to be allowed to show the dead Palestinians.